Hey guys, welcome back. Seiben here, taking my first look at Wizards of the Coast's newest addition to their video game library, Magic Duels Origins. Now, any Magic fanboy out there probably knows about the Magic Duels series. It's an accessible electronic version of the insanely popular Magic the Gathering TCG. So why do I call it the accessible version? Well, that's because a Magic video game already exists called Magic the Gathering Online. Now, MTGO is basically the real-life physical card game in video game form, with all the benefits and caveats of the game included. It allows for extremely customizable deck building with almost every card ever printed, and gives you the real card game experience over numerous different game modes. The main problems people have with MTGO is that it costs you a lot of money to build up a good deck, and I mean a lot of money. It's almost as expensive as the physical card game itself. It's also extremely complicated to get into, and to a new or unfamiliar player, it's almost impossible just to form a deck. Now, this is where the Magic Duels series comes into play. It's supposed to be the more casual and new player friendly cousin to the MTGO game. I've been playing the Magic Duels series since it started back in 2009, and for the most part, I enjoy them. They don't give me the same experience I get from playing the real card game or even from playing MTGO, but it's something fun to sink some of my spare hours into if I don't feel like getting into something too involved. Now, I said I enjoyed all their games, but that's not really true, because last year's version, Magic 2015 Duels of the Planeswalkers, was just not a very enjoyable game. It had so many issues ranging from a sluggish UI to losing a lot of game modes which I really enjoyed playing, such as Two-Headed Giant. The 2015 version was also too simple, like I could sleep through the game and wake up with the campaign completed kind of simple. I know these games are supposed to cater to a more casual crowd, but come on, at least give the players some small challenge. So now they've released their newest game, Magic Duels Origins, and I was begging for this game to completely wash my memory of the 2015 version. Did they succeed? Well, let's take a look. I was given a review copy of this game and immediately started playing. The first thing I noticed right off the bat is how responsive the UI and menus are in the PC version. The past installments always had a problem with slow menus being made for primarily console platforms. The PC Magic Duels Origins, however, seems to have fixed a lot of those issues. Magic Duels Origins also does an amazing job of tutorializing, not just this version of the game, but the mechanics of the actual card game as well. You can probably see in some of my gameplay in the background that at some points, I encounter these so-called skill quests. Skill quests pop up as you play through the campaign, and basically, they teach you about new mechanics. The transition between the game you're playing and the skill quests, which is like a scenario you have to finish with the new mechanic, is really nice. It doesn't get in the way and it's pretty seamless, but most importantly, you can skip it. I hate when games force teaching down your throat, so I'm really happy that this game doesn't force the skill quests onto more experienced players. Now, at the start of the game, you get this pre-constructed deck to play with and learn from. As you complete the campaign, you're introduced to new cards and new styles of decks, but it's slow. One thing I found through my campaign play is how difficult some of the matches can really be. I've genuinely found myself struggling at some points in the game, which is something I really wanted them to bring back. This difficulty, however, wasn't quite the challenging experience I had asked for. I like my games to have progression in difficulty, the next stage being just above my skill or current in-game level. This allows me to grow as a player to meet that new difficulty. In Magic Duels Origins, however, I feel like the difficulty between the Planeswalker arcs is a little extreme. I always felt like I was playing against a deck which was far superior to my own, which is fine, but it was to a degree which I felt to be unfair. Sure, there is always a level of randomness involved, especially in a card game, but the difficulty jumps just kinda stood out to me. Other than that, the campaign mode is what it is. It's not terribly long, but I don't feel like it has to be. The meat of this game was never meant to be locked in campaign mode, although I did thoroughly enjoy it when I wasn't getting completely destroyed. The campaign is really there to teach players how to play and to introduce the story of Magic Origins, two things I believe it excelled at. Outside of the campaign, you have the solo battle mode, which is like the free play mode for Magic Duels Origins. The game says that it matches you up against a virtually endless number of different AI opponents. This gives each game you play in the solo mode a unique feel, which I really enjoy. One of the sore points in the older versions is the lack of variety when it came to AI opponents. Once you unlocked and played them all, that was it. Nothing ever changed. Magic Duels Origins seems to have fixed this by introducing basically randomly generated opponent decks. I'm sure they're not truly randomized decks, cause then you'd be playing against a bunch of random 5-color decks which made no sense. But it's still a good mix-up from the old way of doing this mode. You can also try your hand at quests, which are added and changed daily for you to play. These quests are similar in format to the way other card games like Hearthstone do quests. It's basically like a daily challenge for you to beat an opponent with a specific deck or in a certain way, and you're usually rewarded with the in-game currency, coins. Now, I really love the idea of quests. They give you something new to do every day, and they just keep the game from becoming too stale. Magic Duels Origins will also have what they call community quests, which allows all players to work together to reach a goal. This is similar to the way Wizards of the Coast designs Magic set pre-release events, with all the players working together to progress the event itself. It's an awesome idea, and I can't wait to see some of the unique quests begin. Of course, Magic Duels Origins also has its multiplayer modes, so if you get tired of playing against AI opponents, you can face off against real players. This is what I believe to be the bread and butter mode of the game, and they did a pretty good job with it. The game seemed to work and play at the same pace as you learned from the campaign, and I ran into very few problems with the servers. Now, I have heard other players complaining about lag and disconnects, so be aware that some problems may occur with the online mode. They just didn't happen often to me. Now, let's go over the deck building aspect of Magic Duels Origins. As a card game, the deck building is very important to how customizable or limited the game can be. This game does allow you to fully customize an original deck of your own creation, and it even has a deck wizard mode to help new players learn how to form a viable deck. Just because I say it's fully customizable doesn't really mean it's the same as the physical card game. Magic Duels Origins currently has about 300 different cards, many of which come from the Magic Origins set, and with this pool, you're really limited to just a few actual viable styles of play. It's not like MTGO where you can literally obtain every card and thus, you're not bound by just a few mechanics. So just note that starting out can be limiting. Wizards of the Coast has promised to continually update this game as new sets are released, so as the game continues, more and more decks will arise, but you can basically forget about making any kind of legacy or modern decks in this game. Now, let's move on and talk about the payment model used in Magic Duels Origins. The game itself is completely free to play, but it follows a similar model to games like League of Legends and Hearthstone, this freemium style. Basically, the game and all the cards are available to players completely free of charge, as long as they don't mind grinding their asses off. All purchases are made using the in-game currency, coins, and this is how you'll be obtaining a majority of your cards. You'll use your coins to buy booster packs which contain randomly generated cards, and it's from these random packs that you'll eventually collect all 300 cards. These virtual packs are very different from real MTG packs because they only contain 6 cards, 3 commons, 2 uncommons, and a rare. Each pack costs 150 coins, which is actually quite harder to obtain than you would think. Let's run down some numbers. Beating an AI opponent on hard difficulty grants you 15 coins. Playing against a real player in the multiplayer mode grants 20, while quests give out random amounts depending on their difficulty, but it's safe to say that many of them also award about 20 coins. So to purchase a single random pack, you may have to play as many as 6 to 10 games depending on the mode and difficulty. Or, you can simply buy the coins through the store using real money. Now, is this a case of pay to win, meaning that a game is free to play, but those who pay money get an advantage in-game over those who don't? It really depends on who you ask. Many could argue that buying a bunch of packs with money rather than working for them gives players an advantage because they have access to all the best cards and can make the most viable decks. But I don't share this mentality. Since the packs are random, there's no guarantee that a person dumping their money into packs will get what they want every time. And since all players can eventually obtain all cards, it's more like buying to skip the pack grinding than actual power. Buying the packs will also not increase the skill of the player. They may have the cards, but it doesn't do anything to help them while playing the game, so I think it's a fair model. Overall, I think this is probably the best game Wizards has made, which can appeal to the largest audience. Yes, you'll probably never get the same feel from Magic Duels Origins as you would with the actual card game or even from MTGO. But what you do get is an easy to understand and navigate UI and deck builder. You may not have every card at your fingertips, but you do have a way to reliably obtain packs with no real cost. It's a game built for casual Magic. It gives you something new to do every day and a lot to look forward to in the future. I can safely say I'll be playing a lot of this game and I really recommend it, especially to those who may have been turned off to these types of games since the 2015 version. Believe me, this one's way better. Magic Duels Origins is currently available on iOS with the PC version coming to Steam in just a few days. It'll also be released for Xbox One and PS4 later in the year. You can check out Magic Duels Origins and download it for free for iOS from the link in the description below. I'll also include the Steam link when it goes live for PC. In any case guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please give it a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It really goes a long way in supporting future content. As always guys, thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you next time.